Yeah, it's even harder for me because of the time difference. If I want to catch that market open, I got to be up at 6:30. And then like if I trade an M1, my trading window is like 6:30 my time or 12. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's why whenever I thought about living in California, I'm like, man, living in California, I would have to be up at 6:30 to track the market every day.
I mean, it's actually not so bad.
It's not impossible, right?
It's
It's
not bad. No, it's not bad. And then once you get used to it, then you're done at 3 o'clock. You're done at 3 o'clock, and
that's true. Then you have the rest of the day.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be in New York for the market.
Yeah. Just as context, we were talking about like sleep, because if you guys notice my Twitter, I have been getting very choppy sleep. I've been more or less just keeping my eyes on the market, making sure I do all my due diligence for the companies that I still track and still posting when I can. Because right now, I think we have a classic 2008 kind of moment, not in terms of like market is crashing and anything like that, but there is an opportunity to get into some really good companies at a very good price. And this is the moment where if you're just a little bit like cautious, you do your research, you get into some really good companies that are high quality that a lot of people don't realize, you could end up literally for the next 10 years sleeping on your portfolio and still outperforming the market. Ask anyone who bought stock in 2008, 9, and around maybe a little bit early 2010. They're still living off of those fat checks, bro.
That's literally what happened to me in 2001. I mean, I didn't realize what I was doing at the time. But I was buying Apple hand over fist. I probably put about 10 grand in over the course of like a year, and then just forgot about my portfolio for 5, 6, 7 years and was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
If I was smart, I would have probably doubled that down, and you guys wouldn't even know me. You guys would be following me on IG. I'd be there with Tom from MySpace and Bora Bora.
If you would just let Apple ride.
If I would have let it ride. Yeah, but I've done the math. That's not like
How much is it? How much is it?
What I would have had?
Yeah.
I mean, if I just go back, I don't know.
It would have been a couple million, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just go back and look at what Apple was in 2001 and say 10,000 in Apple at that time. 9 splits later. Come on, you want to say hi?
Oh, we got another guest.
She's just
there we go.
Okay. You said you want to say hi to Amit. Say that. Look, that's Amit.
Say hi to the newest SoFi bag holder.
Say hi, Amit. That's Kris. Say hi, Kris.
Hi. Hi.
Say hi. She likes your Twitter.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really loves the charts. They're very colorful.
Dude, we're doing this all for her. At the end of the day, she's the one that's gonna benefit.
Dead serious. That's one of the reasons why I like that we're doing the daily podcast, and one of the reasons why like I post some of the stuff that I post on Twitter. I wanted to go back and look.
Yeah.
She's not gonna know, bro. Like a decade from now, 2 decades from now, the shit we're doing here, talking about these companies, eventually putting our money where our mouth is, it's gonna help her in whatever.
Absolutely, yeah. And I just want her to, I wanted her to know me in a way that will feel like I'm still that age. You know what I'm saying? Because there'll just be so much data. It's kind of like the way she's gonna know herself as like a baby. She has videos of basically every single day of her life.
I mean, bro, I would love to see my mom at even 40 or my dad at 40 or 30, like just talking, bro. I don't have that. I don't have that. I just don't have
neither do I. Hey.
All right, Kris, speaking of companies you say you could bet on in like it's 2008 and then let it ride for the next 10 years, you have officially made a decision today. Let me actually put up the tweet that you tweeted. And it's shocked a lot of us. I didn't even know it was coming. I knew you were thinking of a decision like this, but I didn't know you were going to pull the trigger. Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Patel is officially in SoFi. That is a new position that he is.
I'm one of the bag holders, man.
He's one of the bag holders. Well, you're not holding any bags as of yet. After researching into many of the claims by Wedbush and pretty much concluding that the information was dubious, I've taken a long position on SoFi. You thank a bunch of people. With ample liquidity, a credit crunch forming, and a CEO who's hell-bent on shepherding this company into a fair weather seas. I'll join you for the ride. No, this is investment advice to the SoFi Bulls. You are now one of us. This tweet got 44,000 views, 29 retweets, 271 likes. People are happy that you're in, and I think the reason people are happy is because you've been the most prominent bear on SoFi, and I wouldn't even say
hold
bear,
on, hold
like
on.
skeptic.
Yeah, bear is the wrong word. I'd say skeptic, only because you you really reveal yourself how things are going to be when the chips are down, not when things are up. Like everyone
Yep.
can bullshit their way when things are great. Oh my God, we have the greatest business in the world. Galileo, Technicus, yeah, you know, all that shit. When there's a saying, I think Mike Tyson said it, like everyone's got a plan until you get hit in the face, right? This company lost out on their main business, student loans, was able to quickly pivot into personal loans, right? Now there's a credit crunch coming. Their personal loans, by the way, their default, I mean, their
Well, hold on.
delinquency
Let's set
rates.
it up. Let's set it up like this. So
Yeah.
we'll set up the discussion. Take
Yeah.
me through 2 minutes on why for the past basically 7 months you have been skeptical. You would not buy the stock. You wouldn't even download the app. And what happened in the past 2 days that has reversed all of what you were thinking about for 7 months and said, nope, I'm going long.
Well, first,
take me through that thought process.
First of all, it's not 2 days. I actually had, I don't know if you guys know this, but I had a small position in SoFi early in 2022. I could pull it up on Robinhood and show you. I took a small position. I took a 50% loss on that position, by the way, because I took a very
Did not know
small,
that.
it was a very small position, but it wasn't like it was a speculative play at the time because there's still growth. Their growth was amazing. So I was like, okay. And I believed in Anthony Noto and everything else, but I could not get past this company being a bank. And that's exactly what it is. It's just a bank. All right. No matter how many people are going to tell me, oh, this is like some kind of revolutionary fintech, X, Y, and Z, bro, you got a bank on your hands. All right. And you got a one that's actually in a very good position, if not excellent position, to capitalize on the current market. The current market is very pessimistic on financials. So when you consider SoFi and all the advantages that it has compared to all the majors right now, it's got a lot of positives behind it. So I think this time around, you've got a very, very, what's the word? Your entry price is so low that the risk adjusted premium is just there. Like I can't.
Okay, why?
Yeah.
What's the premium for the taking the risk at $4 or whatever it is right now that gets you
Because
excited?
it's only a $4 billion market cap with $15 billion in assets and very little liabilities. I told you yesterday, just look at the book value of their assets that they have, right? On top of it, they have a growing business. Their originations are still there. So they're making a lot of money. Their net interest income is growing by the quarter. Their profitability they're literally on the cusp of profitability. They're like $34 million in the hole. In terms of like net income positive, net income positive. That's it. Considering that they're a bank with 15 billion assets, that is like a fucking like placeholder decimal.
Now here's my question. All of this was
Mhm.
kind of true a couple of weeks ago. Why in the past 4 days did you officially say you're long? Like what happened here?
I had finally had the chance to actually deep down understand the business, and then also the market is turning. You're starting to see a lot of the whales start jumping into the financial sector, right? So you've got Buffett buying Capital One and Bank of America. You had Burry buying all these regionals. You got Bill Gross buying all these regional banks. So as you can see, these guys are not holding back on getting into the finance sector. And the other thing is like people also have to remember there is the company itself that performs at a certain level and it gets, it moves around in that range. But then there's also the entire sector. The entire sector, if it ends up being bullish, that's going to carry SoFi higher as well. So if it's performing really well and it's in a sector that's likely to recover, it's going to have another boost behind it. So it's a kind of a double whammy for them. And they're very well run. Their CEO is just, I don't know what is going on with him, but he just keeps buying shares. I'm all for that life. And he's a former Goldman Sachs guy. So yeah, I mean, if he didn't think that this company was worth it, he would, number one, he would not have bought more shares. He would have just said, you know what, I've sunk enough money into this. I'm leaving it. I'm getting out. Now, it is a little worrying to see the CTO sell some shares, but I don't know he's not the one that's the captain of the ship. I'm going to be focused more on the captain of the ship. I don't give a shit about the guys on the side. If they want to jump off at any point, go for it. Enjoy.
What was your experience with the app when you downloaded it?
I haven't actually used it yet. I have not used it yet. Yeah.
You're
I just downloaded it. I'm actually still, I was like, because right now I'm waiting for my my next paycheck. And then after that, what I want to do is I want to try to immerse myself in the SoFi ecosystem. And the way that you truly do that, from what I can understand, is that you want to start direct deposits into your SoFi account, right? And then try to replace your day-to-day stuff. Like I'm going to have my TD Bank account because that's my primary like going, but that's going to have like reserve cash that's just going to be paying my bills, because right now I have all my auto pay bills, everything linked to that account. So I'm not going to move it right away. So what I'm going to do is first change my direct deposit to SoFi and then go from there to see like, okay, what are some of the tangible benefits? Like the benefits that I've been hearing about are mostly around, it helps you become a better like a consumer, right? Where it actually shows you how to build credit,
Get
how
your
to
money
actually
right, all that stuff.
get your money right, all that stuff. So I want to see how sticky is that. So I'm not just trying to like use the app and see the UX and see, okay, the UX is fine. No, I want to actually become a SoFi customer so that I can give like not just a positive review, but a review that you can say, you know what, this guy took the lenses
Informed
off.
opinion.
Informed opinion. That's
and let me ask Carlos. Carlos, you asked a great question yesterday to some of the SoFi bulls saying, look, it's just a bank. Why are you so excited? What's the headline that's gonna blah 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 blah? What do you think about Kris saying he's long SoFi?
Well, considering his recent, I guess his recent interest in banks like Truist, it makes sense. It's a small outlier player, right? And it's say what 5% of your portfolio, if anything. But I think
barely two.
But what I think is your analysis that like, oh my God, all the big guys are going into banking now. This is a sign that they're going long. I think they're all going to be out of it by September. I think this is, like I've been saying, the natural rotation out of growth into value. And it just seems like it's a safer place to put it because you just don't have the negative catalysts. Like the negative catalysts for banks are mostly legislative, let's say, really. I mean, that's really or what it comes down to, or like earnings, right? If you get like a bank run. But the potential negative catalysts for growth stocks are way more numerous. And so I hear what you're saying, but I think that a good amount of this money that's rotating in will rotate right back out in September.
I don't necessarily think so, Carlos. Because the reason why is, you see, normally, if you look at the financial sector, right, they typically benefit from a higher rate environment because they can borrow short, lend long. That's the whole thing with banks, right? They can borrow money in the short term, lend it out in the long term, and everyone is happy because they're making huge money on the spread, right? So if you have something called a steepened yield curve, it's amazing for them. The problem is right now you've got an inverted yield curve. So the cost to borrow money short and lend long is horrible. So right now the entire sector is just getting killed by that. Now, what I'm seeing in terms of like the general economy, it's starting to get bad out there. Okay. It's early on, but it's starting to get bad. If you look
at maybe you can speak to this tweet while you're talking about this. Go ahead.
And then I have another concern.
Yeah. So right here, this is my pretty much an indicator that we're in a recession, or we're in literally the starting point of a recession. So you're starting to see the sentiment around the business community starting to go down. You're also starting to see a lack of credit access. Like what I mean by credit access is you have the big guys. The big guys can't really lend out too much money because they're already so goddamn big, and they've been on like buying spree when it comes to these other smaller regional banks, putting money there, and they're actually restricted after a certain amount that they can't do too much with. The regional banks, which were literally liquidity providers to small business and to commercial lender, like to like commercial businesses and all the other stuff, they've all been hammered. So at this point, they're all like, no, we need to keep as much liquidity as possible, because if we get hit by a bank run, we're going to be dead by Monday, and we can't afford to do that. So right now, all of them are just holding on to as many dollars as they possibly can, unless you have some kind of like super great prior relationship for like the last 20 years. Trying to get any money out of a regional bank is going to be impossible right now, or at least very difficult. Can I go for it.
I just want to interject. I'm all about like discussing this, but I feel like I need to do like a Tesla takeover Tuesday.
We're gonna move on to. I was just
they had a massive investor day. We're talking about a company at a $5 billion market cap. I'm sorry, like I get it, but like what Tesla's announcing, what's happening, I think it's
okay.
Huge.
So let's set that up. Let me ask one final question because I was getting it all over Twitter. So Kris, I want you to clarify. Then we'll go to that. TFC, has your stance changed on TFC? You're still long TFC?
Long TFC.
So long TFC still. You still care about TFC. You just think SoFi is also undervalued, so you're long both.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.